yogis, how are you today? So today's class is basically focused on the joy of Memorial Day, and the honor that we have to even be able to practice in honor of those of us who have served the country and given the greatest gift to us, our freedom, at a terrible price. So after we're done our practice today, I will leave a link in the comments of a donation charity space that you might be able to place some money or some well wishes or some thoughts towards. And let's do an all levels class and have a good time and really honor that warrior within us and that warrior that we are so grateful to be able to have our freedom. So when you're ready, lay down onto your belly, please. As usual, blocks are helpful here and blankets are helpful. Straps, if you think you might need it, always have water nearby. And a tissue. Go ahead and lay down. Let your head rest on your arms, remembering that the beginning of class here is always the same on purpose. This gives you all time to show up. If you're running a little late or a little behind schedule, you have time to click in and know exactly what you're walking into. Letting the body just rest on the floor, relaxing the legs, closing your eyes, and feeling the deep support of the earth below you. Feeling the weight of the body transferring to the ground, and the ground itself holding you up. And starting to take the deepest breaths you can into the belly. So the belly expands as you inhale, and then as you exhale, you can contract the navel towards the spine, letting the body rest to the floor. Know that today is a brand new day. A lot of us don't have to work today. So we might have people here that don't have as much experience with yoga, or maybe not as much experience with me. So if you are new to class or new to this form of movement, meditation, don't worry. Just listen for lots of modifications. And always remember that if something feels a little out of your realm, you can always just take a break and come back to it. There's no winning in yoga. Take 1 or 2 more breaths, just like this. And then when you're ready, take your legs nice and wide apart. Bend both your knees. Feet are going to be facing the ceiling here, and we're going to windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Go ahead and keep your head down the whole time. If you happen to be looking up, I just have my head up so you can hear me. Rock those legs from side to side, legs maybe to the left, and then both legs to the right. And just notice how that feels in your body today. How does that feel in your hips? How does that feel in your belly? How does that feel in the front of your thighs? Maybe your knees? Allow the movement to be whatever amount of endurance you want to put into it. So if you want it to be fast, be fast. If you want to be slow, be slow. If you want to sing out, sing out. And then maybe you'll notice as you move your legs from side to side that as you move to the left, the right hip comes up and the right buttock lifts. And as you move to the right, the left hip comes up and the left buttock lifts. And that's okay. That little movement in your waist and your hips is absolutely fine. You're just letting your body kind of move and flow. Really just trying to find a balance in your breath and the movement. Because that's really the most beautiful thing about a yoga practice, is that we can link our breath and our movement. Take it from side to side, maybe 1 or 2 more times. Nice to see you guys. And then come all the way back up to center and extend your legs. You can turn your toes out for a moment if you'd like to, and just see how the hips are settled. You can let your head rest onto the hands again, see how that feels on your neck. And then from here, go ahead and draw the tops of your feet to the floor. press your hands into the ground, and we're going to shift back into a child's pose. So child's pose means that your knees are going to be wide, the big toe mounds of the feet come together, and the belly is going to rest between your thighs. So a lot of times, if you're new to my class, then you would have probably thought child's pose has the knees together, and it does. But in this variation, we let the belly draw between the thighs. So then once you're here, I'd like your head to come down towards the floor, but only if that means that your buttocks don't lift off your heels. So for a lot of people, that means they're going to place their arms under their head, or make 2 stacks of their fist and place their head into their fist. You might even place a blanket between your heels and your buttocks, but I'd rather your buttocks stay back and down than your hips coming up and your head onto the floor. We want to get a little bit more into those hips and into the front of the thighs and into the ankles. So take a couple deep breaths here, remembering it's early in the morning still, and the body's not going to be as limber as it might have been at the end of the day some other time. 1 or 2 more breaths just like this. And then from here, let's go ahead and move forward into hands and knees. So moving straight on into that hands and knees pose, knees coming underneath of the hips, hands coming underneath of the shoulders. As you inhale here, we're going to let the belly draw down, the shoulders are going to roll back, and the tip of the hip bones are going to come up. And then as we exhale, we're going to contract the core, round the spine, bring the chin to the chest, and look towards the thighs. Inhaling, letting the belly draw down, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the tip of the head, and then exhaling, drawing back in and deep within the spine. Take your time as you move here. Nice slow inhales lead to those nice slow exhales. That's really the goal. We just want the breath to move the body. And then the body to move with the breath. We'll do 2 more just like this, opening up through the front of the throat a little bit more, and then exhaling, opening up through the back of the neck. Think of all the parts of the body that you're utilizing here. Inhaling, letting the shoulder blades draw down. Exhaling, finding space between the back of the ribs and the back of the shoulder blades, or the bottom of the shoulder blades. Let's do 1 more like this. Beautiful. Bring yourself back into a neutral position. And then from here, we're going to kick the left leg out to the side. So that left leg's going to come right out and in line with our right knee. So the left foot's flat on the floor, left leg in line with the left hip. We're going to walk our hands all the way over to the right. Now a block underneath the hands might be very helpful here. Your right hand's going to come underneath of your right shoulder, right block in line with right knee in line with left foot. Reach your left arm up. Hold here. So this is a hold. We're going to stay here for a breath or 2. I'm going to change positions just so you can see what it looks like from the other side. So you're in a nice long line. Wrists and shoulders, shoulders and wrists. Hips are level. Legs and hands are level. You're keeping yourself in that nice long expanded space. And then from this position here, let's pull the core in. Let the hips come forward, and then sweep this left arm by your left ear. So you're starting to stretch past the ear, through the fingertips. As you roll the left shoulder down, move your right shoulder down as well. Get as much space as you can on that left side. Hold here, using a block if you need to, or don't. Bring the head back just a little bit. Open up all that side body. We're going to be here for 1 more breath. Beautiful. You can keep that block right where it is if you're using it. Reach your left arm to the sky. Imagine somebody's grabbed this left hand and is helping to pull you right up to standing again. Now we're going to take that left hand down to the outside of the left leg and reach that right arm by our right ear. Still moving the hips forward, reaching through the fingertips, opening up that whole side waist. Breathing deep into the outside or the right side of the body. You can turn the head to look past the arm if you'd like to. Looking to bring some space into parts of our body that we don't usually think about. Inhale, come right back into center, bring the arms to the sky. Exhale, draw the hands down to the mat. Bring that left leg back and behind you. So you're just holding that left leg back, keeping the hips level. Exhale, pull your belly button towards your spine, bring your head in towards your knee. And then inhale, extend that left leg back. Good. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, extend that leg back. 2 more. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, extend that leg back. 1 last time. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, extend that leg back. Hold that left heel high. Keep it in line with your buttocks. Shift the weight to your left hand. Reach your right arm by your right ear. So we're balancing here in Sun Dog pose. Pulling our core in, finding strength in the belly here. And then exhale, take the right hand down and the left knee down. You can move back through your cat-cow, which is the belly down with an inhale, exhale, round. Or you can sit back into child's pose and just give a break for your wrist and rotate them out. Think about how you'd like to do that. There are parts of this class that are very much choose your own adventure. Let's do 1 more like that. If you're in child's pose, join us back into hands and knees. Pull your core in. Make sure you have your handy block nearby, if you're using it. Let's go ahead and send that right leg out, right from the right hip, so straight up from the glute. And then place our body over to the left. Place your block in line with your left knee. Place that left hand onto that block and reach that right arm straight up to the sky. Again, looking for alignment between the wrist, the shoulders, and the wrist. You can do this on the floor or on your fingertips as well. Keep reaching up through your fingertips, moving the chest forward, moving the hips forward. Making sure the right toes are facing forward. Hold here. You can look up to the sky if you like, looking through that thumb. Stay with it, just a couple more breaths like this. We're going to change it in a moment. And then let's go ahead and sweep this right arm by our right ear. So you're stretching your right arm by your right ear, and you can turn and look past the bicep if you'd like to. Letting your hips come forward, but not over pushing back in the buttocks or overarching in the spine. Think of the alignment of keeping your left hip over your left knee, your right hip in line with your left hip. Stay here, keep breathing. Try to stretch as much as you can through that right side body. Really looking for space. Not rolling that left shoulder into your ear. Roll it back, guys. Couple more breaths, keep reaching. Awesome, bring that right arm straight up to the sky again, right in line with your shoulder. Imagine somebody's grabbed that right wrist or hand and is just pulling you straight up. Take that right hand to the back leg or the right leg, reach your left arm by your left ear, look past the left bicep if that feels comfortable for your neck. If not, you can look forward. Pull your core in, keep your hip over your knee, stretch that whole left side of your body. Find space between the ribs and the hip bone. Find length in that left side, in that left waist. Keep breathing. Looking deep down inside for that space that you can create in your body. Inhale, come all the way back into center, arms come up. Exhale, hands come down. So you're back into your hands or your hands in one knee. Lift your right leg back and behind you. And let's go ahead and move this 4 times. Right knee in, big deep tuck. Inhale, lift. Exhale, deep tuck in. Inhale, lift. Exhale, deep tuck in. Inhale, lift. Last one. Exhale, deep tuck. Inhale, lift. Keep that right leg back. Shift the weight to the right hand and the left knee as you reach your left arm forward. Find strength here. Flex your right foot. Make sure the toes face down. Press through that heel. Keep breathing. Core is engaged. Exhale. Left hand comes down to the mat. Right knee comes down to the mat. You can cat-cow here, or you can take a child's pose, right? If your wrists are feeling tight or your shoulders are, take child's pose. Beautiful. One more time. If you're in child's pose, go ahead and join us back into hands and knees. Walk your hands forward from your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide, press to the base of each the thumb and first finger, and then the rest of the fingers. Tuck your toes under, pull your core in, and start to lift your knees off the mat and stretch your buttocks to the sky, lifting your heels as high as you can. Shake out your head, look back at your feet, take your feet about hip distance apart so that they can be a little wider if you're feeling a little tight in the hams today. And then from here, walk out your dog. Bend one knee, lower the opposite heel to the mat, and then switch. Stretching out the back of the legs, the back of the glutes, or I guess the glutes are always the back, the bottom of the glutes. Shake out your head, let your chin come slightly towards your chest. If you can look towards the navel, that's great. Take it through 1 or 2 more times, relaxing and releasing through your spine. And then lift both heels as high as you can. Bring the chest a little closer to the thighs. And then lower the heels towards the ground. They don't have to touch. Actually, in most situations, if you're wide enough, you're probably not going to touch right off the bat. From here, we're going to walk our feet forward towards our hands. Tiny baby steps to get there. Really pushing down through the hands as we get closer to the front of the mat. And then before we come to standing, go ahead and take your fists together, place them between your feet. Make sure your feet are on each side of your pinky fingers. And then pressing through your feet, come all the way up to standing. Reach the arms overhead, take a big stretch to the sky, interlace your fingers, and press the palms up towards the ceiling. Helping to stretch out those wrists after being on them for so long. Little bend in the knee to press down into the floor, and then to lift through the top of the hands. As you exhale, lean to the left. Get that whole right side open again. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, lean to the right. Get that core engaged enough so that you don't round. Inhale, come back to center. Move the pinky fingers back a little more. And then exhale and release the arms down and by your sides. Look for plumb line. So plumb line, again, not everybody's been here before. So ears, shoulders, ribs, hips, side of the knee, side of the ankle. Finding a lift in the lower belly, maybe a lift in the pelvic floor, a lift in the center of the chest, and letting the arms just hang down. Keep that left hand by your left thigh, reach the right arm up, stay within that plumb as you lean to the left. Find a big stretch on that whole right side. Inhale, come right back up. Exhale, that right arm down. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, both arms come down. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, take it all the way down, bending your knees on the way. Let your fingertips touch the floor here, so bend as deeply as you need to. And then from this position, draw your buttocks down so that they're in line with your knees. Shift the weight back towards your heels. Maybe you can wiggle your toes. And then from this position, let's go ahead and bring the arms forward from our shoulders. We're going to lift the belly and chest off the thighs. Keep the knees in line. Don't let them spread apart too much. You can also have your hands on your hips here. Coming into a low chair. Arms can be by your ears. For those of you who like to do the retraction of the shoulder blades, move the ribs in. Hold here. Keep breathing. Battle is hard. Chair is not. Keep breathing. Exhale, forward fold. Take it all the way back down. Shift that weight forward towards the balls of the feet. Shake out your head, soften your neck and your jaw. Give yourself 2 or 3 breaths here. We're going back into that chair just like we did before. So if you have a tendency to splay your knees, you can place a block between your knees here and squeeze that block, and it's going to help a lot. From here, fingertips to the floor, bend your knees. Let's see if we can drop them down almost in line with the knees, or the buttocks almost in line with the knees. Shift your weight back towards your heels. Bring the arms forward. Lift the body off the thighs. You can drop lower if you'd like to, but be careful with those knees. Core's engaged. Reach through the fingertips. Move the ribs in. I know, chair is not the way we like to do things. 3 breaths. Lift your chest, 2 breaths. Top of the head forward. And exhale. Come all the way down. Remove the block for those of you who are using it. Shake out your head, soften your neck and your jaw. Grab your elbows if you'd like to. Give yourself a little bit more of a space in the back. Couple more breaths. You're doing beautifully. On your next inhalation, we're going to step back with our right foot. Find a big giant step back with our right leg. Left knee comes over the ankle. Lower that right knee to the floor, untuck your toes. Sweep the arms up. Find yourself in a low lunge. Let's go ahead and twist this lunge. So the right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. The left arm comes back. Look through that left thumb. You can keep your hand back, or you can place your left hand onto your lower back or right thigh. You can reach the right arm up if you feel comfortable. Lean back a little more. Stay within your lunge. Keep breathing. Deep inhales and exhales. Last one. Exhale, right hand comes to the floor. Inhale, left arm comes to the sky. Twisting out that lunge. Push through that left big toe, move the knee towards you. Exhale, left hand comes down. Inhale, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Inhale, deep breath, hands to shins. Exhale, fingertips to the floor, bend your knees. Inhale, hold your chair. Breathe deep. Remember, you're doing it in honor of all those people who have given up so much for us. Just a little bit of a chair. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, left foot's gonna come back this time. Big, wide step. Lower that left knee to the floor. Untuck your toes. Inhale, reach the arms up. Nice, strong, low lunge. Right arm back a little bit more. We have a tendency to lean forward here. Take it to a twist. Exhale, left hand to the outside of the right knee, right arm comes back. Right hand can come to the lower back or to the left thigh or wherever it goes. And you can lift that left arm up and lean back a little bit. Two breaths. Last one, left hand comes down with an exhale. Inhale, right arm up, move that right knee closer to your body. Exhale, lower that right hand down to the floor. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. We're going to spin the left heel to the mat, so you're taking that left foot straight down to the floor. Right foot stays where it is, warrior two. Arms come out to the side, looking for space between the ribs and the hips on both sides of the body, addressing any kind of clothing malfunction that might show up. Looking almost to get that right thigh parallel with the floor. Hugging that right knee back, shoulders down. Looking through the right middle finger, coming into warrior two. Nice, strong warrior pose. Think about finding the foundation of the strength from your legs, from the floor. Beautiful. Inhale, left hand back, right arm comes to the sky. Reverse the warrior. Reach that right arm by your right ear as you stretch back. Keep bending that right knee. And then exhale, right elbow to your right thigh, left arm by your left ear, right angle pose. Holding here, nice strong deep breaths. Reach through the fingertips. So thinking about that side waist underneath, see if you can reach your right arm forward from your chest. Hold the pose. Stay breathing. Two more. Last one. Beautiful. Bring that right arm by your right ear. Stay breathing. Bend that knee. Two more. Last one. Right elbow down. Arms out. Straighten that right leg. Woo. Turn both feet to face forward. Wide leg forward fold. Come all the way down. You might still be feeling that right leg. That's okay. It's good to feel. The toes are in line here. The head can come as close to the floor as it feels comfortable being, or you can let your head rest on a high block. Or for those of you who like to use chairs in practice, you can place your head on a chair. Or you can just let the head hang, letting the tailbone lift. Thinking about your hips as a dial, you're letting them hinge forward and dialing into a wide leg forward fold. Try not to press down through the pinky toes more than you press down through the big toes. Try not to lean back into the heels more than you do the balls of the feet. One more breath, nice and slow. Let the head be nice and heavy here. Now press your hands into the floor, and we're going to take this all the way over to the left. So your left foot's going to turn out, and we're going to bend the left knee and come into warrior two. You can look past the left middle finger. Try not to squeeze the floor with your toes. You might need to adjust the stance of your body here so you can hold this better. Pull your core in, shoulders down, chest lifts. Stay breathing. Remember that our warrior pose is a long hold. So there's a little bit of stamina here, a little bit of strength, a little bit of suffering maybe. One more breath. Beautiful. Let's take that right hand back to our right thigh, left arm by our left ear, so you're reversing it. Still keeping that knee bent, finding that movement wants to come into that left leg. So engaging, moving the knee back a bit. Maybe allowing a smile to creep into your face if you want. And let's take it into right angle. That left elbow is going to come to the left thigh. Right arm by your right ear. This might feel pretty good at this point. Core stays engaged. Staying strong in your breath as your shoulders draw down. Let's reach that left arm forward from the chest if you feel like it. You don't have to. You're here for about 4 breaths, so keep the knee bent. You might notice this side's stronger or weaker. Let's reach that left arm by our left ear. Stretch a little more. Hold on to it though. Keep breathing. Last one. Left hand to your left thigh to help you up. Straighten both legs. Turn both feet to face forward again. Let's look for that forward fold. Lift those hips. So this is your second forward fold. For those of you who like to send this into an inversion, elbows down on the ground, head on the floor, legs to the sky, totally up to you. Shifting this weight forward just a little bit if you are not coming into the inversion. You don't have to. Let's take 2 or 3 more breaths. You're doing beautifully. And then go ahead and press your hands into the ground. If you are inverted, go ahead and come out. You can take a flat back position here, hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to cat-cow from here. So all that means is you're going to lift your shoulders, lift your hips, look up. And then exhale, round your spine, look towards your pelvis. Tuck it towards you. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. 2 more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. 1 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. And then on our next inhalation, bring the spine to a neutral position and start to walk towards your right foot. That's going to be the one closest to the front of the mat. Turn your right foot out, bend your right knee, lift your back heel. Step your right foot back, we're going to come into a plank. Your modification for a plank could be that your knees are on the floor here. Notice that my belly draws down, my back overarch, so I have to engage my core to hold everything strong. Sometimes that's what we need to do, especially when we've been holding ourselves strong this whole time. Push back through your heels. Find a nice strong plank, honoring the strength of our fallen heroes. Taking a couple more breaths, pushing back through the heels, the top of the head really reaches forward. Awesome, let's go ahead and take this into a side plank. One of the modifications here will be to put the left knee on the ground, shift the toes out, right heel on the floor, and the right arm up. You did that at the beginning of class. Or you can shift both your heels to the left and reach that right arm up. Holding here and breathing, you can stack, stagger, or lift your right leg. Move your hips forward as you open your chest. Lift your left hip off the ground, last breath. And down we go. You can take child's pose, you can hold plank, you can go into a down dog to take a break, or you can lower down halfway, push yourself right back up, hold plank. Breathe, use your mods. Almost done. All right, ready? Let's take it to the right. So come into plank if you're not there. Roll to the right, or drop that right knee, left arm up. Stack, stagger, hold the left leg high. Keep breathing, don't turn your hips to the ceiling. Stay with it. Strong, strong, strong. Last 3, 2, 1. Lower down, left hand to the floor. Lower halfway or all the way to your belly. Inhale, lift your chest. Roll your shoulder blades back. Stay here for a breath. Lift through the center of your body. Stretch out the front of your belly button, the back of your belly button. The left and right side, your shoulders probably want to roll forward here. I want you to keep moving them back. And then from here, we're going to take down dog or child's pose. We're here for a couple breaths. So if you want a child's pose ahead of time, go ahead and take it. Shake out your head. Soften your neck and your jaw. Let your spine get long. Notice if your heels are able to touch the floor here. Imagine your inner thighs pushing back to the wall behind you. Last 2 breaths just like this. Wherever you are, you're going to join us to standing. So for some of us, that means you're going to hop and jump your feet forward. Some are going to go into a handstand and then a split, curve, whatever, and come forward. Some people just step forward. However you get there is fine. And then once you're at the front of your mat, you're going to come all the way to standing. Come up slow though. Reach the arms overhead. Whew, big deep breath. Let's reach that right arm up a little higher than the left, stretching through that right ankle to the fingertips. And then that left arm. And then both arms. And then let's bring those arms behind us. You can let your hands rest on your lower back, lifting the center of your chest here, not just pushing your pelvis forward. This is not the back bend that you want. I'd like you to focus more on lifting the center of your chest up. So in true spirit here, think about lifting your heart up to be in contact with the souls and spirits of those of us who have left before us, our warrior spirits. Lifting that heart up, opening it up to these noble people who have given all. Hugging your elbows towards each other as the shoulder blades draw down. Presenting that chest, pulling the core in, and then nice and slow, softening those arms. Very good. So we're going to come into a Warrior 3 posture, and this is going to be done a little differently. We typically do it from Warrior 1, but I'd like to get you right into the air today. So let's pull that right knee towards our chest. Now, I'll give you the modification again in case you haven't been here before. Your right toes can come to the floor so you're lightly tapped on the ground, and the arms can come by the ears, right? So this is a good modification here. It helps work your balance. If you're already a seasoned practitioner, or just like to do things the hard way, reach your arms up, pull your right knee in. Find strength and stability on your left leg. And then nice and slow, carry that right leg back as the arms come forward. Flex your foot. Breathe here. Try to imagine you're a giant leather T. Stay breathing. Lift that back leg a little higher as you reach the hands forward a little more. And then carry it out, or fall out like I did. Carry it out, pull your right knee in, and release. To the left, to the left. So, modification, arms will be by your ears, Left toes will be on the floor. You're leaning slightly forward. You're one long line. Other variation, left knee in. Kicking that left leg back. Reaching through the fingertips, flexing that left heel. Lift that back leg. Strong right leg, a little bend in the knee if you have a tendency to hyperextend. Keep breathing. Hold on to it. Stay with it. Last one. Pull your left knee in and release the arms. Reach the arms to the sky. Big deep breath. Exhale, forward fold. Shake out your head. Excellent. One more breath. Great job, guys. Press your hands into the floor, and let's take the knees to the ground. So we're going to come into Hero's Pose, and this is where you have to be really aware of your own body and how it feels. For those of you who have tension when you bend your knees and sit back onto your heels, right? If this starts to hurt the kneecaps, then that's an issue, and you don't want to cause yourself more pain, correct? Hopefully. You could be a masochist, some of you are. There are modifications though. You can sit with 2 blocks between your ankles, or 3, or 1, and sit your buttocks down, right into a hero's posture. You'll notice there's less compression, less pressure in the front of my knee this way. So if you are one of these people who need these blocks, then this is going to be your posture that you're going to hold. And given time, this might become an easier posture to hold. You have to just kind of work the warmth into the legs to get there. You might be eventually able to drop down, and that would be a great situation. Or you might end up finding yourself not needing blocks at all. You might even be able to sit straight down onto the floor between your heels. Again, we don't want pressure on the knees, so keeping that in mind. If you can't sit like this at all, then go ahead and sit cross-legged. Some of these things will work and some of them won't, and I'll show you the modification. So wherever you are, this is our hero's pose. So the front of the thighs are stretched out. You've moved the calf muscle out of the way. You're sitting tall. So if you have to be here, then take some height or sit on your heels. Then from this position, we're gonna take the right hand and place it to the outside of the left thigh. If you're in cross-leg, it'll look the same. Left hand behind you and twist. Remember that you're not leaning back, you're not rounding here, you're lifting through the center of your chest. Finding that nice hero pose. You can also roll up a blanket underneath of your knees or between your thighs and your calves. There's a whole bunch of things. Come back into center, let's try it on the other side. Left hand to the outside of your right knee, right hand rotates behind you, chest rotates to the right. Try to draw the shoulder blades down and back. Breathe here. Beautiful. Come back out, nice and slow. Let's take a break off our knees. So not break our knees, but a break off of your knees. Take your hands to the floor. Lift your weight off of your knees. Maybe stretch one leg out. Probably off the mat here. And then the other leg off. Do that maybe 1 or 2 more times if you need to. We are going back to that position, so if you notice that that was incredibly uncomfortable, I want you not to do it. I want you to go ahead and just take your cross-leg position on the blanket or a mat or blocks. All right, so we're going back down. Dropping down, you're either on the heels, that's a nice one, or we're moving that calf flesh out of the way. So we're working towards a reclining hero's pose. So if you're sitting on one block, or on the floor, this is an accessible pose for you. If you're not sitting on, or if you're sitting on 2 blocks, then remember, you're just staying upright and just working your way. We're going to start to walk the hands back. Now, there is a full version of this. We're coming down in stages. If at any time your knees start to hurt, you're going to come out. So as you walk your hands back, you might notice that you get a bit of a more stretch in the front of your thighs and in your hips. You might be able to take an elbow to the floor. Maybe both, probably both. You might stay here. This might be it. Pull your core in, lengthen your spine. Stay breathing. Or you might start to bring your back down and lift the arms overhead. Remember that this is all levels, so for some of us, you're gonna stay right where you're at. You're gonna stay seated. Some of us are in cross-leg position, so you're wherever you are, I'm just showing, and you'll just lean back, right? Or you can even do it with your legs stretched. All right, so I want you to be here for a couple more breaths. Whatever position you chose to be in is your choice, and I am assuming that you're doing it because your body says that it's okay, not because some random dreadlock girl told you to do something. Let's take just a couple more deep breaths. And then take those elbows to the floor. For those of you who need to come out of that deep pose, elbows first, then hands. Walk your hands forward. Everybody, hands and knees. Tuck your back toes, push your heel back. Oof, I know. Remember, it's an all levels class because there's all kinds of modifications given. Right? You have to take the ones that work for you. Never go past your comfort. One more time on each side. Awesome. Go ahead and keep those knees right onto the ground. Hands are going to be in front of the shoulders a little bit. Tuck your toes. Down dog. Chin towards the chest. Big stretch in the back body, but also in the back of the legs. Really breathing in and out here. Staying with those slow, deep inhalations and exhalations. Last couple breaths just like this. Awesome. We're going to shift forward into a plank, but you can take child's pose if you prefer, or just hold the down dog. Shifting forward into this last plank, pushing the heels back, or the knees are down on the ground. Breathing here. Thinking about how much strength we have in this body, and how beautiful it is to be able to listen to a body. Holding here for 3 more breaths. I know some of you can hold this for 4 hours and not be phased. Awesome. And then from here, we're going to lower all the way to the belly. So however you get there is fine, but lowering all the way down. Great job, guys. Let's go ahead and come into Superman pose because, and that is not what the ancients called it. That's just what the gym people started to call it. So the arms are going to come forward, the head's going to rest, the legs come back. So thinking about what Superman looks like, you're going to lift your arms, your chest, and your legs, and slightly up off the base of the hips, not much. So deep breath in, belly gets big. Exhale, contract, pull the belly button to the spine. Keep the engagement of your core. Inhale, lift your legs and your arms. It's hard to talk in this pose, but I'll try. Roll the shoulders down. Keep lifting, keep reaching through your fingertips and reaching through your toes. See if you can lift the chest off the floor without rolling your shoulders into your ears. Hold here for 1 more breath and exhale. Beautiful. One arm on top of the other. Forehead rests on the arms. It's important to breathe during that posture, just like it's important to breathe during all postures. Take 1 or 2 more breaths, just like that. You might have figured out that your modification for that might be that your legs just lift or your arms just lift, or maybe you just don't lift very high. You don't want this to hurt your lower back at all. You want it to stretch the front of your body. Think of it as you're extending your chest forward through your fingertips. You're moving your pelvis back towards your toes. Give yourself a second opportunity to do so. When you're ready, arms forward. You can also reach the arms back for those of you who are feeling a little top heavy today. Here we go. We're gonna lift. Legs up, arms up, and breathe. Shoulders back. Keep breathing, keep reaching, fingertips, toes. Everything's extended. Core's engaged. Almost out. 3 more. 2 and 1. Last one. Let your head rest on the floor or on your hands. You still with me, guys? You're doing great. You're doing amazing. Excellent. Go ahead and take your legs wide apart. Bend both your knees and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Back bends can get your heart racing. They can bring a lot of energy into the body. You're opening up a lot of the front of your body. Something that we typically close off by driving or working on computers or texting. So those back bends are usually harder than our forward folds. Take it from side to side one more time. Come back into center, extend your legs. We are gonna roll over onto our backs. So when you're ready, take a nice gentle roll, as graceful as possible. Reset your body here on the floor. Readjust your clothes because yoga clothes are notoriously difficult to keep on. And then from this position, before we end up into the next series of movements, take your feet mat distance apart and your knees bent. We're going to windshield wiper again from side to side here. So it's just going to feel a little different than it did laying on your belly. And you're giving yourself this fabulous opportunity of gentle movement. And deep breath. And then the next time that you come through center, let's go ahead and focus on dropping both knees to the left. So both knees come all the way to the left. That means your right buttock's probably coming off the mat just a little bit. See how this feels. It should not hurt your knees. So if it's hurting your knees, then maybe you don't want to drop down this far, or maybe it's just not time for this type of twist, and you can just hold off and just have your knees facing the ceiling. We're going to take the left foot and place it onto the right thigh. Now, this might mean that you can hook, catch, and just let the weight of your ankle draw that right knee closer to the floor. Your left knee might be on the ground here, it might not. So we're just allowing a little extra stretch into the outside of the right thigh, a little extra space here. Letting your breath be slow and steady. Relaxing and softening the muscles of your face and your eyes, your tongue. And then nice and slow, we're going to come out. Take your time, please. Place those feet mat distance apart again. Readjust your hips. And then draw both of your knees to the right. You might be sitting this one out. That's okay. Maybe hook that right ankle onto the outside of the left thigh. Really breathing deep here, and letting the twist happen naturally. And if this isn't your favorite style of a twist, remember you can just move your knees from side to side, or maybe the knees just stay facing up. And then we'll come right back into center. Place our feet mat distance apart again. And then from here, we're going to pull the knees towards our chest. So both knees are going to come towards maybe the armpit side of our chest. You can grab under the thigh or in front of the shin, letting the tailbone draw down. Take some nice deep breaths here. So you're gonna flex your feet and take the soles of your feet towards the ceiling. Now, you can place your hands on the inner thighs and just let them, the hands be heavy if they pull the knees towards the floor. You can grab your ankles here. You can grab the soles of your feet. A couple things to look out for. We don't want the tailbone to come off the ground. That doesn't work. And also, we don't want the head to come onto the top, or you don't want to come into this arch in your neck. Instead, make sure you're grabbing on your feet in a way, or your ankles or your thighs in a way that you can let your tailbone keep shifting towards the floor as the knees come down. It is very much work in the hips, so if you know you have tight hips, then that's probably part of the issue. Make modifications. Always make modifications. And depending on your comfortability, your grip might be the outside of your feet. It depends how you like to do it. I like inside, but don't let my preference be yours. Not in something so simple. Keep drawing the tailbone down. Maybe some of you like to rock here, just rocking your hips from side to side. Some people like to extend the leg that they're rocking towards, a little rocking baby. Come into it in whatever manner once you feel drawn to. And some people just like to stay still and let gravity release the knees towards the floor. And take big deep breaths into your belly here. And then we'll go ahead and release the feet. Start to bring the knees to center. Shift those knees in towards the chest. You can wiggle out the ankles or the toes here if you'd like. And then from this position, we're going to take a full twist. So the left hand's going to come to the outside of the right knee, and you're going to roll to the outside of your left buttock. So the back side is off the mat here. You're actually laying onto the outside of the left thigh. And then reach the right arm back. You can place a block between your knees here or a blanket. See if you can try and keep the right shoulder down. If not, there can be a blanket under your shoulder, or maybe see what happens if you put a blanket or pillow between your knees. Keep breathing deeply into that unbelievably strong body. Even if this was a struggle during class, know that the strength it takes to just get up and do a yoga practice is immense. Let's take it through to the other side. Draw both knees over to the right. Remember, you're shifting all the way onto that right side, reaching through that left arm. Then modifying here, blankets, pillows. Knees closer, further from your chest. A soft, slow breath. And then your last breath here. And then nice and slow, come all the way to center. Let's extend the arms overhead as we reach the legs down onto our mat. Big, deep stretch from fingertips to toes. And then let the arms rest down by your sides and let the legs come a little wider apart. Relax through your hips and your lower back and readjust your body so that you feel that your whole body is supported by the ground. You can place a blanket under your head here or a pillow underneath your knees. Close your eyes, let your chin gently shift forward so the back of the neck gets a little bit of space, but you're not pulling your chin to your chest. So there's a little tilt. and just stay resting on the floor. Start to deepen your breath, feeling the belly rise and fall. Imagine that all of the things that hold you back, your self-limiting thoughts, your worries that are unfounded, your fears that you don't quite know where they came from. Imagine them just moving away from the front of your mind, becoming less and less involved, less and less important to your development, to your decision-making process. And maybe in their place, we present ourselves with a great deal of gratitude for our experiences, strength to grow and learn, contentment for what we have, and regard for those around us on their own personal journeys. You're an individual as part of the whole. Living your life fearlessly, with strength and integrity, and doing the best to move towards the intention of your passions. Being the hero of your story. You might fall, but you will rise. And although not all of us feel called to serve, we can all serve in our own way. Stay here just a couple more breaths. And while you're here, I'll just read to you a prayer that the Dalai Lama does every morning as he rises. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. Go ahead and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your knees into your chest and over onto your right side. Press your left hand into the floor and come into your seated position of your choosing. Bring your hands together, and if praying is not in your wheelhouse, don't feel the pressure to do so, but instead maybe just bring in some good thoughts. But let's give our thoughts, minds, and hearts to the family of those who have given their life for our freedom, who believed in the ideals and the strength of this country for the best of it, and were willing to defend it. And let's also bring our thoughts of gratitude to those people, and as I said, to the families, because they also sacrificed greatly. Happy Memorial Day. Have a beautiful rest of your holiday weekend for some of you. As always, I will see you again soon. Namaste.